What's up, good people of the world? Welcome to Logic Pro Tips. Today's tip is a technique that I use a lot, especially when writing ambient tracks for video games. So whenever I'm asked to write something that's ambient, one thing that I don't want to do is use presets, the Logic presets. And sometimes it's difficult, especially if you're writing for something that is, like fantasy or something that's a bit more organic. You don't necessarily want a very electronic-y sound. So I found a quick little easy way to basically turn any sort of instrument, even if the instrument is very percussive, to turn it into an ambient pad that you can use to give space to an ambient track. So it's really simple. Basically, all you do is you, of course, just create a new track. One tiny little tip here: when you're creating a new track, Alt-Command-N is the shortcut for that. You can select the instrument to be an empty channel strip. That's usually what I like doing, because otherwise the default is going to be just this classic electric piano, and then you have to turn off the buses and all that stuff. Anyway, so over here, let's just choose like a piano, for example, a fairly percussive instrument. But it really works with any instrument. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn off these buses. So you hold down the click button and just select no send, right? And I'm going to turn off all these other plugins. So, and if this doesn't open up this inspector right here, that you can select it by this button right here, that's going to give you the instrument channel strip parameters. And then you're basically just going to click on audio effects. You're going to go down to reverb. You're going to go to space designer. You're going to hit stereo. And space designer is the built-in Logic reverb. It's actually not bad at all, considering that it comes with Logic. It has a lot of great presets and a lot of functionality. You can design the envelope and just like you would be able to in a more expensive reverb. Anyway, so you're going to go to large spaces, you're going to go to outdoor spaces, and you're going to go to thunderclap, which is down towards the bottom, 8 seconds. Now, there are several reverbs you can use for this effect, but thunderclap is my personal favorite because it has a very, a very shimmery effect, and it has a very long decay, and it doesn't sound very muddy, right? It has a very thin, the lower frequencies are sort of cut a little bit, which is another thing that you can adjust. There's an equalizer built into this reverb, but I might go over the controls of the space designer in a later video. Anyway, select thunderclap, and then what you're going to want to do is turn the dry down all the way. Okay, so then you're not going to just have the dry sound of the piano, and you're just going to have the reverb. And because again, the way that thunderclap is constructed, it starts to sound like a pad. Isn't that wonderful? It's just so much fun, and you can... It literally takes any instrument and turns it into this crazy ambient pad. And of course, you can adjust the length in seconds right here. You can sort of move this down to be like 4 seconds, right? So you can see it fades away more quickly, which would be useful if you were switching harmonies very quickly and doing modulations, and so you didn't want the old to bleed into the new. You could lower that as much as you want, but it still has that spacey sound. So, again, you can do this with absolutely anything. You can do it with an organ. You can do it with an electric piano. You can do one of my favorites to do is to go to world instruments, go to stringed, and then go to like a hammered dulcimer. It sounds really, really cool with the hammered dulcimer, and I've used this in several of my ambient tracks on SoundCloud before. So we're just going to do the same thing. Large spaces, outdoor, thunderclap. Turn the dry down. And again, even if you go down to the lower register, you can see that it has still a very mid-rangey and higher rangey sound, so it leaves a lot of room to have a low, like a sine wave, drone tone, and then you sort of have this on top, and you can roll chords around, you can create little shimmers, and you could take different, like you could take the piano and you could take the Celtic dulcimer and sort of have them, one of them is getting quieter while the other one is getting louder. You can have them panning in their ears so that they kind of switch. There's all kinds of fun things you can do. But anyway, that's it. It's a really simple concept, and it opens up all kinds of possibilities because, again, you can try it with any instrument. It doesn't matter how percussive the instrument is, and it just turns it into this ambient pad that you can use for your film and game composition, or just for your own stuff.